Hello and welcome to the first beginner guide intro video I'm making. I'm doing a short beginner series for new players to Dofus, so to kind of help them along discovering the world and figuring out different aspects of the game, things that might not be explained in game. If you somehow made it here and do not know what Dofus is, it is a 2D MMORPG created by Ankama, which is based in France. So a lot of their support systems and a lot of content that comes out for them is actually in French. But for the game itself, they do have English. They do have an English support team. You can get everything you need in English. It's just oftentimes like external things created by players are oftentimes in French, so it's kind of harder to find tools for an English user. But I'm going to create a brand new character for this video just to kind of show you the intro to the game, show you the tutorial area, how to get something called the Bunch of Keys, which gives you one free dungeon access to every dungeon in the game once a week. And so it resets I believe every Tuesday it resets. I'll kind of give you tips on better areas to get some of the resources for early quests if you decide to go the questing route. Dofus is an interesting MMO in the aspect that you can actually level entirely off of fighting things. You do not have to do quests. So I know like in World of Warcraft, in Final Fantasy 14, stuff like that, most of your experience can come from questing. You can do dungeon runs. In Dofus, you can literally sit on one map and farm the same mobs over and over again until you hit like 10 to 20 and then move to a new area and 20 to 30, etc. So that's a unique aspect. It kind of makes it easier for you to level throughout the game the way you want to. So I'm going to sit here probably for like half an hour trying to figure out a name for this character because I can never get a name. And then I will be right back. Alright, so I'm in game now. Before this, there's like a little cinematic that it shows you. After the cinematic plays, this will be the first screen that you'll see. You'll have this little arrow key right here, which I'm not even sure if you can see my mouse right now, but you'll have, yeah, there we go. You have this little arrow key. You'll have a little tutorial box up here. It tells you what to do. In this case, it's literally just speaking to this guy. I'll let you read this on your own, and then he tells you how to equip an item. So you can either click this inventory, or if you look, you can see in parenthesis there is a green letter. That's actually the keybind for that option. So I can just hit I and I'll open the inventory instead. And then you can either drag the item into the slot you want it, which is useful for like rings. You have two different slots. Or you can just double click it and then just close that. To change maps in this game, you bring your cursor to the edge of the map like this, and you'll see an arrow pop up. An important aspect of that is where the arrow pops up is where you will leave this map and go on to the next one. So you don't have a set position you end up on the next map at. And the reason that matters is some maps actually have obstacles where if you need to get to an enemy in the top right of that map, and you enter from the bottom right, you might have like a wall in like a maze that'll take you down, and you won't be able to actually access that top portion. You'll have to do this whole like tricky, windy thing. There's some, I can't show you right now, but there's some areas of the map that they're actually designed like mazes like that. So you have to be very particular on what side you enter from. But here it's simple. It's just one walkway. So once you do that, you will not level that fast. This is an alt I made specifically just to show this. So he has a ×4 experience multiplier until he catches up to, until he passes at least all but 2 of my remaining characters. There is like expedited alt leveling. So let's say you have a level 50 and you decide I want to try a new class. It's better not to class change that 50 because you might want to play them again later. You can make a new character. I think you're allowed 5 character slots at first without buying any extras. So you make a second character And then until that character gets caught up to your level 50, he will earn ×2 experience. Let's say you get him to like 38, and you're like, I don't really like this class, I'll try something else. That character will get ×3 until level 38 when he catches up to your second character. And then he'll get ×2 after that until he hits level 50. So, and it goes all the way up to ×4, which means 3 characters above the level of who you're playing. So it's a cool little thing to kind of make it easier for you to level different classes, for you to test different things, and you can jump between them, come back to them if you want, especially if you're playing on a mono account server like I am, because I'm on Draconeros. Because people usually on the other servers will just build a team out of all these characters, so they'll be playing 4 to 8 different classes all the time anyway. In this, you can really take advantage of the alt boost. Anyway, they want you to fight this random globe thing. So they make you pick a position, and then they won't actually let you use your spells until you move. I don't know if this is linear, it's not. So then you click a spell, or I have keybind set up for all of them. They make you kill this. They tell you to skip after the first spell cast, but it's just a waste of time. So they have you kill that. He tells you how to start a quest. And they give you most of the rest of this beginner set. And I will point out, so you're obviously going to get out of this sweat. What? You're obviously going to get out of this set super fast. And the sound glitched out. So when you do get out of this set, you're not going to be able to actually sell it. You're not going to be able to drop it because it's linked. That's what this symbol down here means in the bottom right hand corner. So the only way to get rid of the set is you right click and destroy, which I can't do yet apparently, but so when you finally move on, like a creature drops a new set, you buy a new set, and you move on from this beginner one, that is how you get rid of it. And I don't think they ever actually explain that. Give me 1 second. I am going to, before I move from here, I'm going to quickly reload this because the sound bugged out, and I don't want you to have this weird, ghastly, like wind sound behind me while I'm talking, because it kind of feels weird to me. I feel like I should be telling a horror story right now. You're back. I am now back. I guess I could give you a little bug fix thing for that. So on occasion, because the way the game is, and it's going to be porting to the Unity engine soon, but the engine for this is extremely outdated. If the sound glitches like that, just close the game and reopen it. Like, this game isn't like some high graphic game, obviously, that is going to take, 5 minutes to load up. You close it, you push 2 buttons, and it's back up in like 10 seconds. It took me no time. While it was loading, I barely had enough time to drag my camera view to where it should have actually been, because I forgot to adjust it while I was name changing my character. Which, side note, the name filter on this is weird, because you're going to pick a name sometimes for a character, and it's going to say something like I tried picking Geisterache, which is like Spirit of Vengeance, but the game said that I cannot use forbidden words, which it's literally pretty much like Spirit of Ghost, and then like Vengeance, and Vengeance was fine because I tried that afterwards and someone else already had that name. So if it tells you, oh, this word's forbidden or whatnot, don't try to fight it. I don't know why they say it's forbidden, but if you try to find a way around it and it is caught by some filter, you might end up getting yourself banned for no reason. So just pick a different name. There's plenty out there as long as you don't pick French. French is actually the most saturated, so convenient for you, you're probably an English speaker if you're here. Anyway, so after that, you equip your gear like I showed you. He has you go on to fight this Celestial Gobble. Oh, I forgot to change this on my bar. Oh, and I forgot to explain that. I'll do that in a second, though. Okay, not what I want to do. I do know this class a bit, but there you go. This is an Eliotrope, by the way. So this is the portal using class. It's one of the more complicated classes, and I've actually always wanted to make one. I just never really brought myself to doing it. And so when you chain spells through their portals like that, it actually... Oh, that's not deactivate. I don't have it yet. If you chain spells... Oh, you knew exactly what to do. I hate your AI. The game has decent AI, if you can't tell. Because he knew to walk off the portal to back on to reactivate it so he could teleport to me. Allies and enemies can go through their portals, and allied spells can go through as well. If an Eliotrope spell goes through a portal, it actually gets a ramping damage buff based on how many portals it goes through. This class is probably the most common class for soloing endgame dungeons, and it takes forever, but simply by cheesing with the portal system. Like, it's impossible to completely balance around it, but one mistake in a situation like that and you might end up just dying anyway. Max level in this game, for people that might be wondering, is level 200. So levels 1 through 199 follow your typical leveling scheme in an MMO. You gain XP, you level up, you get stat points, which I can't show you. Oh wait, yeah, I can't show you yet. Put in your stat points, and then the next level takes a little bit more experience. You get less experience if you fight something way lower than your level. You get more experience if you fight something close to your level. When you hit 199, to get to level 200, it is actually the combination of all experience you needed to get from level 1 to 199. So level 200 is essentially doing everything you already did again. The difference is every time you level, you actually get, I think you get like 5% bonus experience from fights for each level you are. And then obviously you can take on high level fights, high level dungeons, achievements. I'll go over all that kind of stuff in future videos. But 199 is pre-end game. Like, you can do most stuff in the game. 200 is, I made it start doing like Omega levels, which is kind of like a prestige level. It doesn't actually do much. Yeah. So anyway, that's way far and beyond. So I just wanted to let you know, 200 is the max level in the game, and your build will not be fully coming together until at least level 80, probably, for most classes. Before I continue on this quest thing, so if you hit S, on at least my keybinds are S, but there's a spells tab where you can see all your spells here. So these are the levels you actually unlock the spells. The colors are the element that you use. So like if you highlight this, it does 12 to 14 water damage. I'll go over how to increase these damages once I unlock the characteristics panel. But these colored spells are actually utility. It's a neutral thing. So like this one's to place the portals. This one is to shut off a portal so that like at the end of your turn you can shut one off to make it so enemies can't use it. These are usually heals, shields, knockbacks. They're another form of utility, but they also have damage tied to them on occasion. Similar here, but green, blue, red, and brown are your 4 elements. And you can do whatever build you want. Most people nowadays with the current meta just go mono element. They just pick one. And I mean, you can switch elements, but they pick one for whatever build they're doing. Some people do hybrid still, which used to be the meta. So like you might pick, let's say strength has these modifiable range spells, which means you can make them longer. Like you can make them super long actually, range. And then you might pick something as well with shorter range like air, which also has pushback. So then if you go strength agility, then, sorry, that's going to confuse you until you know characteristics, but we'll get to that in a sec. So if you know earth, or if you make an earth and air build, then what you could do is like you could push someone back with the air spell, still dealing decent damage because you're actually spec'd into it, and then hit them with the super long range strength spell afterwards, which on this one attracts them. So those are opposite spells. Horrible example, but you kind of get what I mean. You can even go Omni if you really wanted. Most people do not do that any day or nowadays. There was one class, the Upper Mage, that is super good Omni, but it's a ton of combinations to learn, and it's super complicated to make it work. So I'd say for now, when you first start, pick one element, and if you want to go hybrid, wait till you get to a point where there's a set where you can go hybrid. Don't worry about custom sets, which I'll explain in a future video as well. They have pre-made sets for you. They give you set bonuses. It works nicely for a new player. You can even go hybrid technically at level 20 with the Gobble set, if you're going Earth and Fire. But I'd say try and stick to one element, 2 if your set allows it, and just experiment between them. It's pretty flexible on that. If you're wondering about the second row of spells, so these are alternative spells. So this is level and you lock this. What that means is if you click this at 95, you will turn your portal spell into this flexible portal. It's not an extra spell for your bar. You'll just see this portal spell will change into this spell. And you can switch back and forth between these as often as you want. This class, everything seems to line up. Some classes might have like an earth spell here, and then its alternative might be a fire spell. So if you're a fire build, then obviously you're going to want to switch over to that fire spell because you will not deal much damage with the original. But yeah, so that's the second tab. Special spells, don't really worry about. That's your melee attack for now, but you don't usually use your weapon until you get really high level. So from there, finish your training, follow him, you go to the next area. This system I'll explain in another video. Actually, it might be the one after this. So now that I have all these categories unlocked, I could probably show you. Okay, sweet. So I can open the map now. So you remember earlier... Okay. This is the game map. This is the mainland. When you first pop out of Incarnam, the like beginner floating island that we're on right now, you'll end up in Astrub, which is right down here. Specifically, you'll end up right there. This is a pretty massive world if you consider the fact that each and every one of these blocks here that's coordinated is a map. So each and every one of those is like this, but usually not on a single small platform. And then on the characteristics thing I was talking about a moment ago, you see, so here, so this is why it was confusing earlier for the spells. So when I said you might go strength agility, it's because most players actually say their builds by the stat you put in. These symbols next to them obviously show you what element each stat gives you, and then the color matches up with the spell. So like insult here deals air damage, air symbol, agility. So what you do here is, I'm gonna go chance for now. Chance, and when you click one, actually when you highlight them too, it tells you like chance increases water damage. It also increases prospecting. 10 points in chance increases prospecting by 1. Prospecting is an advanced stat. Every point in prospecting you have gives you a 1% increased drop rate from items on creatures. For the most part, it's not needed. It gives some nice extra item drops and resource drops if you're already a chance build. It is not a big enough deal whatsoever to force you to put points in chance. Pick whatever element you want, does not matter. They actually all have aspects like that. Agility increases dodge and lock, which is something I will not explain in this video. Strength increases the maximum capacity of your inventory. Intelligence increases fire damage and healing. So if you're going a healer build, English, then usually you will be intelligence. And then wisdom, most classes do not directly invest in wisdom. Increases experience you get at the end of a fight. Every point of wisdom is 1% bonus experience. It also increases AP parry and MP parry, so action points and movement points. It makes it harder for people to take away action and movement points from you, and it makes it easier for you to take them away from others. This stat is not usually Usually you do not put points in this, at least early on in most classes, with the exception of Zealer, because their entire basis is around taking away action points. Like almost like half the spells in the class's kit is based on that. So oftentimes you'll actually see them go up to a certain point in stats on one of the other skills and then just pump everything else into wisdom so that they can just sit back and take all opportunity of attacking away from someone, which is a huge deal in PvP, by the way. So anyway, I'm going to put these 5 points in here. That means, so as wisdom gives you 1% bonus experience for every 1 point you put in wisdom, chance actually gives you 1% bonus water damage for every point you put in it. Same with agility and air, same with strength and earth, same with intelligence and fire. Now that you know the elements, and now that you know the stats that correlate with them, I am switching back to the normal way of saying it, though, because I get super confused trying to say, like, the actual damage type. But, so, like, Affliction, if I would get 100 if I would get 100 chance, through items, through stat points, etc., then, so the effect will still say 12 to 14 water damage. This does not change. This tells you the base information of the spells. So, but knowing that each point of chance is 1%, 100 would be 100%, so you double damage. So this would actually be 24 to 28 damage. And obviously as a crit chance at 5%, doesn't really matter on that, at least early on for this class. But just so you know, you're going to have to, obviously there's like target dummies to test things on. You can see damage numbers in battle, but you are going to have to do some math if you want to figure things out outside of combat for like when you're building sets and such. The next thing they'll have you do is they'll have you kind of learn how to gathering profession stuff here. I should open this. So the 5 things here, there's nettle here, ash here, iron, wheat, and then in the water there's these like little puddle splash effects, so that's where you fish. A cool trick to show you, and this is a perfect time to do it, is when you're gathering on a map, you can just click a point. Like I can click this and it'll gather. But there might be fields of wheat or like 4 or 5 trees. There might be a whole line of iron in the wall, or you might want to fish an entire lake on the map. If you hold shift, you can actually just go through and click everything you want to harvest, and then you just sit back and your character will get everything done for you. If someone else harvests something that you have queued up already, then as soon as your character gets to it, they'll be like, hey, someone else already took this. He'll turn that one off, and he'll just keep going down the path. So it's a nice, handy system with professions, and I don't remember the profession hotkey. I'm sorry, I suck. You can level every single profession in the game. There is no limit on slots. There used to be. It used to be like WoW, where you had to pick specific professions. You'd level them. If you wanted to learn something else, you'd have to delete that profession and then learn the new one. Not anymore. You can do them all. I think these also max at 200. I've never maxed a profession. I am just a slacker on that aspect. But if you're a completionist person that likes to do that, or if you want to become like an omni crafter and, you know, do all the different crafting things, here's the codex for you. Do not worry about these Magus professions at all as a beginner. In fact, most veteran players do not worry about them. It is essentially extremely experimental, extremely luck-based, and extremely expensive to level these. When you level them, you can make a ton of money because everyone wants a Magus in the end game. But this is not a beginner profession at all. So, Smith Magus, Shoe Magus, Jewel Magus, Craft Magus, Costume Magus, Carve Magus, yeah, that's all of them. Do not touch. It's just my advice for you, it might make your brain hurt. You might throw away all your money into some gambling scheme to try and change the stats on the night. The Magus professions allow you to change stats on items. They allow you to... It's hard to show without an item. So like an item might have like 5 to 10 vitality as the stats it gives. It allows you, if the item has 6 vitality on it, it gives you the... You can use runes to up that to 10 vitality. Or you can overmage it and try to hit like 20 or 30 or 40 vitality. Or you can try to exomage it, exotic mage, and you can try and put like 5 intelligence on it so that it has like 6 vitality and 5 intelligence, a stat that normally doesn't come on the item. But exomaging, overmaging, things like that are super expensive to do. They are extremely luck based because some stats have as low as like a 1% chance to put on the rune, and they cost tens of thousands of commas, the in-game currency, to buy one of the runes. And like, it's not worth it for a beginner. So anyway, sorry. I got this. So I got all my profession stuff done. This is like the crafting menu you'll see typically. You can just click the item you want to craft, and it'll automatically fill in all these slots for you. You'll see a red X if you don't have the ingredient. It'll have a yellow symbol. I think it's yellow exclamation mark if you almost have enough of that resource. But a little useful info to know. So now, at this point, your character should look... Anyway, let's continue on. Alright. You'd think I usually go intelligence on the, like... I've played this class a bit. I have not leveled much. I think I've gotten, like, level 20 before. I think I usually go intelligence, though, because I like that. I'll stick with, sorry. I'll stick with, chance for now, because... Yeah. Each time you level... You know, just make sure to put your stat points in. I promise you will not level, even this early, you will not level that fast. It's just because I have that ×4 experience multiplier, so... this will have you quickly fight an actual fight, in a way. So now it gives you the real arena look. Oh, that's something I should explain. Your combat will not look like this. Your combat will look like this. I play in tactical mode. A lot of longtime players do. It's up to you how you want to play. Obviously, this looks very cluttered, to me at least. And I don't exactly know, like, positioning, what I want to do against them. So if you hit this, like, 4 squares down here, you can activate tactical mode. It'll show you where you can't walk. It'll show you where there's walls that can block line of sight. And it's super clean looking. So... We'll do tactical mode. And if you need to like see around a creature, you can activate creature mode like that. And it shortens everyone into like this little globe look. Which, like, if you're like playing a melee class and everyone's grouped up in the same area around you, but you want to hit a specific person, then you can just quickly toggle on creature mode, smack them around real quick, toggle it off. If you see how I'm playing around this, you can see that this is blocking line of sight, so I keep walking behind it, and then he can't hit me. And then I misclick, of course. Yeah, he can hit me there. And if you ever want to check, like, creatures in a fight, you can look at the timeline. You can have your cursor here, or over them themselves. And you can see all their stats and information about them, like resistances, dodge, lock, action points, movement points, health, etc. This is dodge, by the way. So if you try to break away from someone and it says negatives like this, it means you don't have enough dodge compared to their lock rate to get away. And similarly is your lock does the same thing to enemies. So you can, as an agility class, I'll just pass this turn. As an agility class, you can lock monsters near you, which is sometimes useful for some of the tankier melee builds. An important thing, too, on the creature mode, kind of keeping yourself in one place thing, if you cannot, for whatever reason, click on the person, or if you just want to make it a little easier on yourself, you can actually click a spell and click on their picture in the timeline, and it'll cast on them. You do not have to click them on the map. Unless it's a spell that specifically has to be clicked on the map, but that's extremely rare. So once you finish that, you kind of talk to him with the question, oh, exclamation mark, question mark. Put your points back in again. Now, this is the important part for the bunch of keys I mentioned earlier on. If you don't remember, near the beginning of the video, the bunch of keys is a item. You can't sell it, drop anything like that. It's an item that gives you a free access to each dungeon in the game once per week. There's a profession that makes keys. If you want to run something more than once in a week, you have to buy keys for it from the player marketplace. Real in-game money. Like, you don't have to pay real money for it. But some of the keys later in the game get super expensive. This makes it easier for beginners, especially, to be able to afford to do dungeon runs, kind of get their experience going, that sort of stuff. And I'll do dungeons and such in a future video as well to kind of explain that in more depth. But this is where you'd get the bunch of keys. So you do everything I just did up to this point. You have to do it all. And then you will talk to Ganymede here. Click search for answers. You will click this book. Read what it says if you want. Click this little tablet up here. Read what it says if you want. And then you click this little Dofus egg. Read what it says if you want. And then you talk to him again. Ignore this green arrow. It is stupid. It points to nothing. They really need to fix this. It confuses everyone, and then you would never know what to do here. So that is how you do that. Once you finish up, thank him for his help, take the bunch of keys, leave the temple. And then once you get here, so if you look in quest items, here's the bunch of keys, and it shows you a list of every dungeon that you currently have a key for this week. I don't even know how you would read this whole list. Oh, sorry. I don't know I'm yawning so much. I just woke up like an hour ago. Yeah, I don't even know how you read that list. I don't even know why they put a list there, whatever. So from here, you can kind of decide like how you want to play the game. If you want to do a lot of questing, they give you a quest to start here. You can see exclamation mark quests all over the place here. If you just want to kill creatures, if you highlight like a portion of the map, like here, if you look in the top right of the game, like up there, way up there, it'll say the level for what you should be to be in that area. So the creatures will be in a level range of like this area. I think they're like 4 to 7 or something like that. So it's recommending you're level 5 to fight them. So if you're going to do a creature leveling route, then always look at the level of creature in that area. Sorry. Yeah. Look at the recommended level. I can't think. Look at... Make your level match that level, or be higher than that level. And that's the best way to get optimal experience if you're going to go the monster hunting route. Jesus. So, anyway, if you go the questing route, there's something I want to kind of expand on that here. And there's dungeons. There's a dungeon here, but there's also achievement routes. Those ones I'll get into in the future. So for the questing one, though, an important thing to know is there's one sec. Alright. So the important thing is there's a lot of people that like to farm profession like resources and such in Incarnam, which means that it's super difficult to complete a lot of the beginner quests, because things like this wheat, you can see like there's usually people running all over the place. It's 12:30 right now at night, so there's not as many people on. But it's super difficult without just sitting on something and waiting for it to respawn to actually complete your quests, and you're gonna have to farm multiple rarer spawns like trees if you do the quest line. I don't even know why I'm yawning. I'm not even tired. Uh, you have to do multiple quest lines that require you to farm profession stuff, to craft and such, or just to turn in the items. The easier way to do that is to go straight to Astrub when you have a quest like that. And I'll show you like what portions of the map to search for each resource. Because there's more. It's not that there's less people doing this there, because Astrub's also a free-to-play area, just like Incarnam. It's that there are more resources, so it's harder for people to just grind out everything over and over and kind of lock other people out. If you're curious what this thing is, by the way, it's a Zaap. These, anytime you go to a map with one, you unlock it. You can save the Zaap, so when you die, you return here, like to this specific location, and then you can... I'll go unlock a second Zaap real quick, just to show you. Ignore the achievements. We'll get into that in the future. Probably not even on this character. I literally just made this character for now to show these things off. What I'm going to do is I played on a temp server on Ozotopia a few months ago, and I never used my experience potion. So I am going to use my experience potion that I earned from that and skyrocket this guy 192, and I'll just gear him up in the future. But so now that I have two Zaaps, so if you see it says the cost for commas, I can go to Way of Souls, teleport, and it takes me down here. And this is not just Incarnam. There are these question mark Zaap symbols all over the world. There's one here, there's one up here. You can go to one on this island, this island. They are all over the place. So that is the quick way of getting around the map. Otherwise, it is click, run. Click, run. And you do not want to do that for hundreds of maps. So if you're near a Zaap, make sure you go out of your way to go to the Zaap's map so you can pick it up. But anyway, this is super easy path-wise. So you spawn out here. If you ever need the resources and such, and you can't find them in Incarnam, then this little portal symbol right here is how you get to Astrub. You just go over, and this island you're never locked out of. So run, run, run. Click the portal. Hesitate before leaving. Decide to stop despite your lack of experience. It just tells you that because... Hey, I got my spell. Oh, actually, I can show you this real quick. So, this is how you get to Astrub. Welcome to Astrub. When you want to change elements, all you have to do is hit this little arrow, and it takes all your points back out for you, and you can put them into a new stat. So, in the old days, it actually was a huge pain and extremely time consuming. You had this whole process to do to actually reset your points. You got one freebie essentially, and then after that it was this list of dungeons you had to do based on your level that were not the easiest dungeons. You could not solo them typically because of specific mechanics in them. But yeah, so if you do that, you come down to Astrub here, pop out that building. These guys, by the way, drop really useful beginner sets, but they hit deceptively hard for their level. So fight small mobs if you're going to. The sets they drop are... The color respects it, sort of. Yeah, the color respects the set. So the green ones drop you agility sets. The yellow ones drop you strength sets. The blue ones drop you chance sets. The red ones drop you intel sets. The purple ones, I believe, are a vitality set. I don't know. The pink and purple typically you don't make sets out of. They're like fillers. But yeah, so super easy, super high drop rate on these sets. Pretty good set for, you could use it till your level 20s, maybe even early 30s if you really want to. They're super cheap sets because they're so easy to drop. I'll give you a little tour of Astrub real quick in a second. First, I just want to tell you, so on the profession quests for Incarnam. If you come down here to do those, this area up here is the Astrub Forest. So if you need ash trees for like the log one, you can go there. Throughout the city, throughout the maps around it, you can find nettle all over the place. Right here, the Astrub Quarry. This is where you can find iron. And you can go inside the quarry here too. Gudgeon, the fish if you need a heart. Actually, fishing you can do in Incarnam. It's super easy. No one ever fishes enough to destroy the spots. If you have a problem with someone taking all the spots on fishing, then you can honestly, there's water all over the place. Like every square that has water on it has fishing spots. So Gudgeon's super easy. Don't worry about that too much. Mining is the quarry. Logging is the forest up here. Those are the two rarer ones, the harder ones to do, and the ones that you will probably have to come to Astrub to do because everyone's going to take it in Incarnam. You can find wheat for any you need up here in the Astrub fields, or if you ever want to make bread to heal between combats, then come up here. You'll heal passively outside of combat. It's not like you're just stuck at what health you're at until you die, but it's so much quicker to just eat some bread and fully heal yourself between fights if you're like grinding out levels or something. But yeah, so that kind of sums up the Incarnam tutorial quest line thing. Quick tour of Astrub. Obviously, make sure, since I'm near the Zaap, I'm picking up the Zaap. If you look here, so this right here, like one down, one right from the Zaap, is the equipment marketplace. And I'm going to have a follow-up video that actually goes into depth on what to do in here. But you can see like everything that players have up for sale. And then like you click a specific item and it'll show you all the copies of that item for sale because they all have different stat levels. I'll go in depth on this on a different video. But yeah, so you have that. You have the resource marketplace, which you can choose categories, or you can type, yeah, let's do Piwi feather, a drop from the birds here. Whatever you want to buy. This will always show you the cheapest option in the market. So, yeah, if you need a price to drop or anything like that, wait it out. If it doesn't drop, you can farm it yourself. But yeah. Here's the bank, one up from that. You talk to the owls in there, and you can store an unlimited amount of these resources you'll drop, consumables, equipment, stuff like that, cosmetics. You can even store money in there. Actually, when you make a sale, I'm not high enough level to access bank. You have to be level 10 to access it. When you make a sale, though, the money will always go to your bank, and any of your characters can take the money out if you want. So when it says, like, when you log in, it'll say you sold 12 items in the market for a total of, like, 15,000 commas. Don't be like, oh, they robbed me, I didn't get my commas. I'm at 1 comma right now. But don't be like, oh, I didn't get the 15,000, what's going on? It's going to be in your bank. And it should, I believe it actually says it's in your bank, too. I don't know, because I usually just look down, see the number, and look back nowadays. Up here is the consumables market. And I'll just quickly point out a few useful consumables for you. So, you have recall potions. Remember I said earlier that you can save a Zaap as like your preferred Zaap? The recall potion, you can use one of these and it'll teleport you back to that Zaap. The reason that's useful is, let's say you're in an area that doesn't have Zaps, or you want to get back to where, like, a close area to where your save Zap is. It saves you time from running to the nearest Zap to teleport there. It also can save you money, because Zap fees can get up into the thousands of commas, and 100 of these costs, I really don't want math, 259. 100 of these cost 259 commas a piece. So you're saving almost 1,000 comma, 1,000 commas per potion use to do this instead of the actual teleport route. Those useful. Obviously, as I said, bread's useful. You can make yourself loads of stacks of bread, and it's good for leveling your professions early on. So I say make your own bread, do your own fishing, and just get your own health items. It'll also save you money, and if you know you get to a point where you don't want to use some low-level bread anymore, sell the extra. Characteristic scrolls will have their own video. It will be further on because it's more advanced. I'm not going to explain anything on it right now. So you'll just have to watch that one. And, oh, speaking of which, you can go ahead too, and if you want, if you enjoyed the video, if this helps you at all, starting up in the world of Dofus, then go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and comment if you have any questions. If you've looked at my other videos before, I try to answer any questions in the comments to the best of my ability. So you might get a paragraph detailing everything out. I'm sorry, I'll try to add TLDR if I do that. But I really like to go in depth on things. But yeah. So then, characteristic scrolls, recall potion. Okay. 2 potions that you will pretty much always want to buy on every character. Whoops, if I can type. Bontarian Intercity Express. You want to buy one of those. Once you have the extra money, that is. And Brakmar and Intercity Express. You want to buy one of those. And the reason is the markets in Astrub only go up to level 60. Above that, you cannot buy or sell items above that level. And resources do have a level tied to them based on what the creature that drops it is. So a level 80 creature, his resources will be level 80, so they will not be in the Astrub market. That's Astrub, obviously. We're still here. This is Bonta, and this is Brakmar. Those are the 2 major capital cities in the game. Bonta is supposed to be good people, Brakmar is better, always go Brakmar, yada yada, yeah. These markets go all the way up to 200. These are the markets that everyone high level uses. That Brakmarian and Bontarian potion, what you want to do with them is you want to drink the Bonta one, which will teleport you here to the Bonta militia, roughly. And then you want to unlock that Zaap just by walking onto the map. Then you drink the Brakmar potion. It'll take you down here, and you want to run around and unlock that Zaap. That gives you teleport access to all 3 corners of the mainland for less than 2,000 commas. And 2,000 commas is super attainable. Each of those Piwi gear pieces I said are super cheap, sell for about 100 commas. You can get that by like dropping 10 Piwi items in like 3 or 4 fights, sell them real quick, and then you have enough for those 2 potions. Before you do anything else after you're ready to leave Astrub, do that. Unlock those 2 locations. I do believe that's pretty much all the beginner stuff that I'm going to go over in this. So, as I said, if you have any questions, if I didn't explain something well enough in this, go ahead and leave a comment asking about it, and once I see it, I'll try to explain it to the best of my ability. If it's something a little more complicated, or that might be able to use a visual aid, I might make another video in this series for it. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.
Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.